60,000?
Yeah, there's 60,000. So, I asked what that 60,000 meant, and we have to determine. What we will do is provide the materials, and we will provide the complicated wet rooms already pre-built in a container. That's the thing that usually takes a lot of time. So, and a lot of skills, specialized skills and things like this. Bathrooms and kitchen. Those are in the container. Everything gets built around them. You never, in the end, know that it's a container at all, and it'll look like a great two or one or three bathrooms and very, very nice kitchen. But the basic cost, then you have to add to the cost of the foundations, the cost of the supervision, the cost of other materials. And one thing we found it's best to get locally also are the appliances.
Okay.
This primarily because you can work out just almost as good a deal price-wise as we can get in China from a big box locally, but the advantage is you get the warranty, the local warranty, and that's very important. So that's something you're going to have to do and figure out. So the cost we're going to give you is just shipped to the site.
Okay.
Now we have other kind of costs which are complete construction, but that's something that I think in this case probably not.
Now, if you did, could you give us that option if that was something that we decided that we wanted to do, is have you, do complete construction and development?
But if that was what we do, what we would normally do is we would go to a contractor in the locale and do it jointly with them and come up with one price. So essentially, we're doing the same thing with you.
Okay.
So,
well, we have a contractor in our church. He's my son-in-law.
Yeah, right.
So it'll be okay.
It'd be easy. See, so normally, if it was, let's say, a government, we'd work with that contract, say, this is the completed cost, and we go to the government and say, okay, this is the completed cost.
Okay, so we can also do a government, like if we were to go to President Begay and say, hey, this is what we can do for the Bennett Freeze families who have lived in pitiful.
If you supply it, but really this other way is better.
Okay,
the other way is better.
All right.
Now, for some though, they might say we cannot really wait for everyone to build their houses, and in the building of the houses, I should point out, the system that we will send is pretty much so easy to do that you don't have to be a skilled workman to do it. Essentially, everybody can be trained to do it very quickly. The structure is made of the kind of steel that shipping containers are made of. Now that steel is much higher than normal construction steel, and they're all bolted together. So they will be bolted by the people on the site, but it's not hammer, nail, all of that. It's bolting. The siding, for example, is screwed on. So this is a very sturdy, strong structural system. And you know how containers, they just, after their useful life, they just sit on somebody's property forever. That's because the steel is so good. So that's the kind of steel that's going to be in these houses. So these houses will last literally forever. The structure will last forever. The quality of the fixtures, for example, and all of that, we found in China that the difference in price often between the cheapest and the most expensive item is not that great, but the quality is tremendously different. So the key is to know what are the good products, and that's the advantage of our having gotten all this and sent it to you, because my partner spent 3 years in China doing nothing but finding these research, as well as the building technology, how to put it together.
Oh, wow.
So Now, this thing about first world, second world, third world, I know this is an idea to reduce the cost, but as I told you, we don't do second and third world.
Okay.
Now, because, see, we build for the next generation.
Amen.
We don't build buildings now that will become the slums of tomorrow.
Okay. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so what we got to do is get the price so that it's affordable.
Yes.
And the people, but when you buy a house, or most people buy a house, at first it seems like, wow, how can I ever afford this? But later on, you say, wow, that was cheap. Now I'm going to buy a nicer house, We want to do a nice house that the future generations will be very proud to be in. But we're anticipating that these communities we're building are just the beginning. They're like the seed of future communities that will be definitely first world, but not first world like Phoenix is first world, but with a cultural stamp on them.
Oh, wow.
Because they have to reflect, in all our work, we reflect the indigenous local culture. That's an important thing for us. That's in the planning, the regard for the environment, God's creation, as well as how people interact and relate to each other. So those are the things we feel are very, very important. So we're going to do not only first world houses, but in certain ways, these houses, people from the outside coming in will think, wow, this is really a nice house. It'll be affordable in a way that probably in Phoenix you couldn't get a house like this for the same price. But it will never look like a poor person's house, let's say. That's not that's not why we do it. We want to lift the current generation, but also establish a strong platform for future generations. So this is our objective.
Okay.
So now